Hey guys, this is Melissa Mara with Vintage Bee Design, and today I thought I have a project to do and I would come on live. This is just gonna be a fast project. I purchased these risers. They're just little wooden risers. I purchased them wholesale. I've got a whole bunch of them that I've got to paint up, and they're just super plain. There's nothing wrong with them. And they're really great surface. I had thought I would engrave them in my Glowforge, but with the feet on, unless I choose to take the feet off, they're too tall. I can't engrave them in my Glowforge. So I thought I would paint them up for fall. I have my JRV grain sack stencil, and I have this amazing pumpkin stencil. This is which stencil is this? This is the Pumpkin Co. stencil from a maker studio. I thought I would have a little fun going ahead and painting this up. I have a market coming up very soon, and I am trying to get ready for it. So I thought I'd paint up one. Normally I would batch paint these, but I'm actually going to do each one a little bit differently since I have about 6 of these. So I thought I would start on this one, and we'll see how it goes. Hi Yvette, how are you today? So there we go. Okay, I'm going to use my Klingon S30, and today I'm going to be using Dixie Belle's Silk Mineral Paint in the color Sunkissed. And I'm choosing this because, one, it's a nice creamy color, which is what I'm looking for, but really because I'm going live, what I'm looking for is the ability to have fewer steps, and this has a built-in top coat, so I'm going to go with that. So I'll paint my edges first because I just find that's typically what's easiest. Make sure I get all the way around here. Okay, so now I'm all the way around. Now let's get the top painted. Now, when you're using the all-in-one paints, they don't like to have water added to them, so you should not need your mister bottle when you're working on these. And what is everybody doing today? Are you at work? Are you at home? Do you work from home? See, I see Paul. I can't read without my glasses on. Pauline, maybe? Okay, so you see one coat has really nice coverage. Get this little dried fleck off of there. All right, now I'm just gonna take my heat gun. I'm sorry, it's gonna get loud for a minute. What'd you guys do over the weekend? Everybody do anything fun over the weekend? Anybody catch my video over the weekend? Boy, those were fun pieces to paint. I really had a good time with those. I haven't painted furniture in a while, and I find painting furniture to be very zen. I really enjoy it. I can tell I haven't used this heat gun in a while. This is my backup heat gun. Hi, Angela. This is my backup heat gun, and it smells like it's burning dust because it's been sitting for a while. It is not a good smell. And you should be glad you do not have smell-o-vision right now. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and give it another quick coat. I'll worry about coating the sides, the second coat, later. I don't think they've had ample time to dry yet. Oh, you just watched my video. Thank you, Angela. I appreciate it. Wasn't that salt wash technique fun? That was the first time I tried it. I'd seen it in some other videos on TikTok. I would have loved to give credit to somebody, but I really don't remember who I saw do it. but I was really curious how it would be different from mixing the salt wash in with your paint. And I really liked it. I liked how the texture was very different than if you mix it up.
You know what? I'm going to have to...
Okay. Got that on. Let me give it another quick dry. Okay, this is not quite dry yet, but I am gonna set this aside for just a half a second. Just gonna move it right over here. And the reason is because for my next process, I am gonna mix up a custom color. I want to mix up a little bit. I have DIY paints layered chocolate. I don't need much paint, so I'm not gonna mix up a ton. And I have fire starter here also. So I've got a little fire starter. You know, I'm just gonna use this little spoon, and it's a lovely orange color. Orange, you glad you didn't say fire starter? Okay, so I'm gonna mix this up just because I want a little more autumnal look, a little less bright orange. That might have been a little too much brown, so let's just add a little more. I might have to mix up a lot of this and save this color because I have a feeling I'll be using a lot of it. Yeah, it's still a little too brown. I added too much brown in the beginning, so now I'm just gonna, it's okay, I'll save some in a mason jar or throw some cling wrap over this and it'll save just fine. Because you know with DIY paints too, if it does dry up, then I could just add water and remix it. Now we're getting more to where I wanted. There, that's a little more the orangey pumpkin spice brown that I'm looking for. What do you think? Well, hey Janet from Michigan. How are you? Oh, I got a couple people come on, say hi. Okay, so we're just doing a quick craft today. This is my first time trying to do a quick craft live, but we should be good. And I don't usually tape off, but I did grab some masking tape because I should do things the right way when I'm doing live to teach you guys the right way. So you just need enough masking tape to keep your stencil from moving. That's really the plan. So I'm not going to mask off this whole area. And I have a nice stencil brush and I have some paper towel. This was used on the other side, but it's completely dry. And what we just really need the paper towel to blot our material. So I'll just put it here. And I need just the tiniest of amounts. So I said this will be good because I have a bunch of fall projects coming up. So, okay, so I'm just gonna blot most of that off. And normally you would see me swirl when I do my stencil technique, but because as you can see, these lines are so wiggly, there's no way that swirling is gonna work because it'll just move them from side to side. And pouncing will do the same thing. It'll make them move. So the best way that I have found to work with the grain sack, and I use the grain sack stripes all the time, which you can kind of tell I'm not good at cleaning my stuff, is I actually get almost all the paint off my brush, and then I just sort of do like a sweeping motion this way. Sort of back and forth. So you kind of get lines in there, and that's okay. I can work that out by doing multiple coats. Oh, I like the color that this turned out to be. It's a nice fall color, I think. But you want to hold these lines down as much as you can so they can't move. And then you just want to go like in a sweeping motion. And you see there's still a little bit of give in there. So they're not going to be completely perfect. If you're looking for perfect stripes, tape is your best way. But this is, like, I'll have this done in the amount of time that I could have taped this board. Almost done. And I'm gonna move my hand. You know what? I'm gonna just dry a little bit of this real quick because I can see it's still wet, and I can put my hand over it, and I don't want to end up getting fingerprints all over this. Normally I wouldn't do a stencil quite so juicy, but since you're not really swirling or anything, you're just sort of dragging, it's not quite as big of a deal. Ooh, that's a little warm. It's a little on the warm side. Okay. And I'm just gonna do a little bit more up here just to make sure I've got that I like where I am. Okay, I'm happy with that. On my way. I'll pull it right off. What do you think? It's not perfect, but I'm gonna sand this up and it'll be really close. There's a couple little bleedy lines. I don't know if you can see them right here, but honestly, when I'm done and I do a light sand, you won't even hardly notice. Okay, and now I'm going to use my new Maker Studio stencil. This is Pumpkin Co. I love these mesh stencils. Hi, Patty. Okay. And you see, it comes with this sort of firmer board, which I think really is just for packaging purposes. And then the stencil is stuck to another panel. And I only want part of this. And I do find, especially on these bigger ones, sometimes it's just easier to cut them apart. Okay. I'm going to be using this part. So I'm going to actually offset it from that. And I'm going to use this line up against my grain sack here to see that I have it sort of mostly level. Now, one thing I do like to do, because sometimes I forget when I'm doing it, hi Sherry, is I cover up right here in this corner. There's actually a stencil that says a Maker Studio. It's in the mesh. I like to cover that because sometimes I forget and I go crazy on, not so much on a big pattern like this, but on the small ones, and I miss it and I end up stenciling it in. So I don't want to do that on this. And hello, dog. Okay, you know what? I didn't bring, I'll just do it on my paper towel here. Yes, I'll do another fold. I forgot to bring a plate to put, I didn't want to do the pumpkin spice color that we mixed up. I wanted to use the layered chocolate on this, and I forgot to grab a plate for it, so I'll just do it on my napkin. It'll be fine. Pour a little bit, probably need a little more than that. On there. And then I have my Dixie Belle thingamajig, which is what I like to stencil, use my mesh stencils with. And I like the mesh stencils with this because it's flexible and I can really kind of get around. So I'm just gonna grab some of my layered chocolate and literally we're just gonna smoosh it. This is really more screen printing than stenciling. We're just gonna smoosh it into the words. This is very economical with your paint, I will say. Because you kind of get to use every last little bit of it. And if you like these products, you can always go to my website, vintagebdesign.com, vintagebdesign.com. I don't think I said that quite right. And pick any of them up. We do free shipping over 50, excluding the DIY paint. Okay, so I mostly have that right. Let me clean up a little bit of this extra paint. It doesn't usually make a difference, but let's just clean it up. Just in case, because I'm live, and that's when bad things happen. Okay, so I have most of that extra paint. Now, for the moment of truth. I'm just gonna grab my top here. I'll grab both corners. This is pretty big, so it's got a little bit of tension. And I'm just going to pull it right off. Ta-da! What do you think? I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'll give it a light sanding, and then I'm actually gonna take it outside, and I'm gonna put a spray varnish on this, and I'm gonna do the spray varnish because DIY paint is perfect for doing these mesh stencils, because if any of it dries in your mesh stencil, it's water activated, so it'll clean up really nice. The downside is, is that it can also smear when it's wet. So I don't like to use like a liquid top coat. So I'm gonna do a quick spray, and then I will go in and I will put a nice wax on it, and to give it that nice soft hand finish. But the spray will keep everything in place when I'm using the mesh stencils. Honestly, almost no matter what paint, I prefer doing that when I use the mesh stencils, because one of the things I like about the mesh stencils is this really crisp look. So let me turn it your orientation, because I see we're upside down. And this is basically my finished product. I'll show you kind of over here. When I sand this up a little bit, you'll see it's gonna be imperfect anyway. So those little bleeds are not gonna make a difference. I'm not gonna sand this at all, but I'm just gonna sand this. And I can use a brush to sort of wipe it off, right, and get all that dust off of there. So anyway, I will get all that dust off of there. You can see I love this pumpkin spice. We just used fire starter and a little bit of the layered chocolate, and then this is the layered chocolate. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this quick little 20-minute or less craft from start to finish. Also, I'm gonna sand up the edges. And that's it. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Have a great day. Hope you're having a fabulous week. It is Monday, and let's get started and get crafty. Bye.